Okay, let's get started. Hey home freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. So as you can see in the title on today's video, I'm going to be giving you my full review with spoilers of the movie Till Death that just came out a few days ago, back on July the 2nd, but I was able to watch it just yesterday because sadly where I live, that is Puerto Rico, they're not giving it all movie theaters, so I had to watch it on Amazon Prime Video, where it's available if you had the same problem as me. So as always, all my reviews are with spoilers. If you want the spoiler free version, you see if the movie is worth it or not, and just see a little bit about my opinion, on the description box down below there is my link for my blog where there are all my spoiler free reviews, because as always I like to give you guys the options. So further ado, let's get into the video. Now the running time of the movie is 1 hour and 28 minutes long, so obviously it's not that quite long, it's short, and I think that it's completely okay. I don't feel like the movie needed any more time. I think that for 1 hour and 28 minutes it was really great, like right to a point, because sometimes films, they do feel like they are too long and extending everything. So on this case that didn't happen, which are really good points on it. Now the second thing that I want to mention is Megan Fox's acting. I think that she as an actress is so good, but on this one she doesn't speak that much. Like the movie is a little bit quiet, not like A Quiet Place, but it's literally the whole movie through. But there are times where there's not really much to say, and there's a lot of times where it's really quiet, and even that you can see and you know what she's feeling, because she's able to project that towards her eyes, her face, and her body language. The movie basically starts with shots of the city, and she's driving and like kind of voiceover, and then it kind of switch from one scene to another. She's driving, you can see on her eyes she wants to cry. She's not crying, but she has some conflict happening. And we have her with a man that his name is Tom, and her character name is Emma, and they are on this hotel, and she's basically saying to him like, I can't do this is not going to work. So obviously we know this is an affair, and he's like, why? And like she's about to leave, and she's like, it's because it's my anniversary. So she basically met with the guy she's having an affair with on the day of her anniversary with her husband Mark, that is a lawyer, and she leaves. And then she keeps like driving, and she gets to her husband's office. The secretary receives her with a bouquet of white roses, and she's like, happy anniversary, miss. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to say it because I had a hard time pronouncing it, so I'm just gonna leave it right there. So, and she passed to his office, and he's not there, but she passed and she see a file on his desk, and when she opened it, it's one from her, because we learned that she had an attack on, we could say it was her house, and she was stabbed from the back. And she, throughout the movie, you see that she has some PTSD from that event. And the file basically shows the pictures of how she ended up. She had really bad wounds, like bruises on her face, and they show the stab, and it's a really big scar, so we know that it wasn't easy for her. And she closes when her husband gets onto the office, and she's like, why do you have this? You can see that triggers something on her. She even has a flashback of the incident, and also shows a picture of the man who did it. And he's like, well, they're giving him a parole, so he was like checking. And it has been 10 years, so, and they're celebrating 10 years of anniversary, so we can assume that he was the lawyer of the case, but we don't see this until further on the movie. He could just be checking because he's her husband, but we could assume they met while he was investigating on the case. They got together pretty quickly. He proposed, and they have been together ever since. But the thing is with his character, I hated him every single minute that he was on screen, and thank you God that it was only about 15 minutes. Seriously, thank you. He is the worst type of man ever, because when he sees her, he's like, weren't you supposed to be wearing my favorite red dress? And she was like, no, I wanted to try something different. And he's like, well, it's okay, we have time, you can change. And I'm like, if a man ever do that to me, damn. But you see the type of dynamic that is happening on the couple. He's a really dominated man, and he's a little bit manipulative. Like, he manipulates her emotionally. You can see that. So he's that type of powerful man that thinks that women should obey him, and that he likes things a certain way and doesn't like to be disobeyed or not be on the control of the situation. That type of man she's married to, but we know that she's unhappy. I mean, she's having an affair, but you can tell when she's with him, she looks really uncomfortable. I wouldn't say scared, but she's not like precisely on the trust side. But we could say that is because also kind of trigger the seeing the file and everything. But the thing is, they get on the elevator, and the guy that she's having an affair with, Tom, gets on the elevator. This is when we learn that he is an employee to Mark, and Mark is like, have you guys met each other? And she acted pretty well that part, and also him. And they're like, yeah, we met at this Christmas party and everything. And he's like, no, you know, I didn't went to that party. And he tries to correct her, and I'm like, God, I hate you. So they get to their anniversary dinner, and while she puts on the red dress, she looks gorgeous. I mean, that girl, Megan Fox is a goddess, but she looks absolutely stunning. And he's like do this, and takes out like a red box on the table, and she's like, we weren't supposed to be doing gifts. And he gives her a necklace. This is a scene that can be seen on the trailer. It's a steel necklace, and he said, because this is basically our steel anniversary. And she gives him an envelope that has a gift for him, and he's like, we weren't supposed to be doing gift. But we all know that doesn't really work. There are 2 tickets for the Super Bowl. Basically, he doesn't like the gift, and he kind of rejects them. And they leave, and he left the envelope on the table. Well, they get to their car, and he gives her, like, we could say it's like the bow ties, but obviously it's untied, and to blindfold her because he has one last surprise of our anniversary. And it's been an hour of him driving, and she looks really uncomfortable. You can tell she's uncomfortable, and she's like, can I take this off? Like, it's been almost an hour, you told me we're already there. She wants to take them off, and she's about to, and he grabs her hand like so eventually she takes it off, but he doesn't do nothing, because right, they're about to get to where they're going, that it's the lake house, only that is winter, so everything's frozen, but looks gorgeous, like a winter wonderland. It looks amazing. And he basically asks her to count to 100 while she is sitting on the kitchen. Yeah, that was the kitchen. And she's like, by 75, she's like, whatever. And she gets up, and there's like this road of roses and with candles and everything, so romantic. And there's this bouquet of roses on the table, and with the card that has a phrase, but till death do us apart. And basically he has his whole romantic theme plan, and he in one moment is like, I know you haven't passed rough times, I haven't been the best husband, when we am trying, and blah 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 blah. And I'm, no honey, I don't believe that, that's horrible, awful, just move on. And the night goes on, and the day comes, and she wakes up, and he's like on the side, he's giving her the bag so she's not in front of him. And when she wakes up and she do this, it's when she see the handcuff, and he says something. I don't really remember what he said, but he just like says something, and he shoots himself on the head. And this is when she gets like this, and she's like what the hell just happened? She gets in a state of shock, and she tries to drag him in order to like move. So she's dragging the corpse all throughout the movie. And this is when she learned that he planned the whole thing because he knew about the affair. He basically put her phone on water so it doesn't work. The truck that they went on doesn't have gas. He took away every single knife or sharp object. So basically she doesn't have anything. Nothing. She's by herself on the cold and she doesn't know what to do. So she keeps dragging him throughout the house until eventually we could say it's 45 minutes into the movie. Someone knocks the door. She gets really scared. Of course, she's having PTSD because of the attack. You can see that. And basically, at some point, she kind of screams to the corpse like that he wasn't a hypocrite because she sometimes had to clean lipstick and glitter from his clothes, so he wasn't a saint either, and he was punishing her because he didn't want her to be happy without him. He says on a voice note that he left for her, like he didn't want it to see her being happy with another person. Oh my god. So basically the person who knocks the door is Tom, the guy that he was having an affair with. And she's explaining to him what happened, and he's also a lawyer, and he's like, well, you need to start like thinking about what you're going to say because they could frame you. But she's like, because he had a message from her phone, but it was Mark, and she's like, he's sending you a message. He left me here without nothing. Why do you think that he sent you a message? And it wasn't for me to help. Like, we could say that he wanted to frame Tom. But this is when things are interesting. And it's because when Tom is on the front porch, a truck is coming, and he says that he saw that truck from a mile away and that it was parked on the side road, and now he's coming. And a man gets down, and he's saying that he was called by the owner because they needed to fix like a tube pipe or something. And we have Tom like talking to him so he doesn't get into the house because Emma is on the inside and the corpse also. But another man gets off the truck, and you are seeing him from the back, but you know who he is because if you pay attention to the picture of the guy who attacked Emma 10 years ago, you know that it's him. So yeah, he kills Tom. The guy that went off first is Jimmy, and this killer attacker, we could say his name is Bobby, are there because Mark told them they needed to go there so they could get some diamonds. But we all know that the real reason was so that they could kill Emma and some type of vengeance because of her he was 10 years on prison. So basically she starts to run throughout the whole house trying to escape, and she gets to a little boat house and she finds the anchor of the boat. So with that she kind of starts like cutting the fingers of Mark, so she gets the handcuffs off. She leaves the body there. She still is hiding, but they eventually got her and they handcuff her again. Now the reason why they need her alive is because Mark said that she knew the code for the safe that had the diamonds, and it was basically the day that he proposed. She gives him the date, but she has a deal that they will set her free, at least from the corpse. And he opens the safe, and he took Mark's body because he needed his fingerprints. So when he opens the safe, the only thing that is on the inside is like this huge glass with a note that says the diamonds that you're looking for are close to her heart. This is when we realized that it was the necklace that she's been having all along, because at some point she tried to take it off but it won't come off. Basically, if you want the diamonds, you need to chop her head. And he's about to do it. He's not hesitating on doing it, but Jimmy, he's trying to like calm his brother's senses, but he kind of pushes him and tries to get off him. He kills him by accident because he gets stuck with their head with the things where you hang your bags and your coats and that type of thing. He gets hanged up with the head, and he kind of drops down because of the weight and gets killed. So basically we have Bobby and Emma on the one last standing. She grabs a knife that he had first and he handcuffs him to Mark. So now she's running, but he stopped her on the leg. So she is trying to run as fast as possible. We have Bobby that is handcuffed to Mark, trying to run with the body. She eventually gets to the truck because she found some gasoline on the boat and she kind of filled it, and she hadn't, we could say, enough for at least to like run something. But when she tries to run like on reverse, they have like 2-3 cars blocking, so she needs to go forward, she kind of passed through Bobby, and she gets to the lake because she loses control. They still, and he wakes up, she doesn't pass through him completely, so they still fighting there on the lake. They both get on the water. She eventually gets to stab him and kill him, and she eventually gets off the water, and basically the ending scene is it's the picture of the poster, like where she's like laying on the cold and the cold eyes of the water, and we see the sirens coming because she was able to contact the police before they caught her. So basically it ends with that. The movie is pretty logical because the first thing you could be thinking is, well, she cut his hand and that would set her free, but of course he planned everything so well that seriously her chances of surviving were really low, but she still got it. So for me, the movie was excellent. For me, it's a 10 out of 10 and a 5 out of 5. Seriously, the movie, although the plot is pretty similar to Gerald's Game of Stephen King, this movie is of course less psychological and more thriller, but I think that it was really well executed. It's not quite predictable because you don't know when they're going to cut her. You know they're going to cut her. She's not going to get that so easily, but you don't know when. Sometimes in a movie you know where they're coming and you know what is going to happen. And although, like I said, on this type of movies you kind of know what is going to happen, but on this one they really work it well. It doesn't really have jump scares or that type of thing. And like I said, Megan Fox acting is amazing. Seriously, she did such a great job, and I think that really adds up to the movie. So for me, this movie is a 10 out of 10. Everyone should watch it. I really enjoyed it. For me, it's one of my favorites that have come already of the year. Of course, a lot of movies are still coming, but for 100% sure that this is going to be one of my favorites. It has really good ratings and critics, so it's not just me. I'm not overpraising it. For me, it was great. And I think that that's all. I don't know how much I have been rambling, probably even a half an hour. I don't know. I talk a lot, but thank you so much for watching it. Let me know in the comments, have you watched it or you haven't. Like I said, it's on Amazon Prime Video. It's totally worth it, the $7 that you have to pay to watch it, in case that you don't have it on a movie theater just like me. And like I said, Megan Fox, chef's kisses. She's amazing. What else? I mean, Megan Fox should do more horror. She is meant to be the final girl of horror movies. She definitely is. She's an icon. I mean, I love her. And this is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Bye.